you had to say that you remember?
Harem shows. Full of really awkward lines that I have to scream. There was one I had to scream the other day. I had to say something about, eat me! My breasts are like creamsicles on my... I forget what it was, but I actually texted my brother and I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, you cannot bitch about your job. You cannot. I think that I have the power to make other people feel awkward in the booth, which makes me very happy. I was talking earlier, whenever there's a weird love scene or something, I like to go in first and do a joke take where I do everything like 10 times. It's crazy. So if it's supposed to be just, I'm like, yeah! And totally freak the next person out when they come in. Or like panning and stalking, when I did stalking, I loved the fact that I would just go in and do my job, and everybody else that came in after me was horrified. Oh, hey.
She makes lights go off too.
That wasn't a real. Now it's bright.
Now there are a lot of people here.
Oh my God, there's so many.
But I would do just my regular lines and think nothing of it. I cursed a lot in that show for anybody who hasn't seen it. But everybody that came in after me was like, I can't believe you made Monica say that. Or they come up to me like, are you okay? I'm like, you guys, I'm 37.
Check your person.
So I make others awkward. What about you? Awkward? Anybody?
I never retain those things.
Yeah, I can't really remember any particular lines, but I like to mess with people sometimes. I was working again on the series Gunsword, and throughout the entire series, my character just speaks in a very monotone, very melancholy voice of Vaughn, Dawn. And there is another character in there played by a very, very talented actor, Yuri Lowenthal. And Yuri has this character's voice that's way up in the air. And so I went and I started hearing his character as he got introduced into the series. So I started practicing Yuri's voice in my truck. And decided to test it out in the booth one day. And so we had been recording this entire series with Vaughn of the Dawn. And we're in between takes, and all of a sudden I bust out with Yuri's voice, Vaughn, what's happening? And Liam O'Brien is directing, and I can see Liam and the engineer just going, what? It's malfunctioning here. What's going on? Where's Yuri coming from?
I have the same thing. I'm working on a new show called RoboCarpoli, and we have a very tight. We're doing, I think, like 52 episodes in 3 weeks. They're cramming it in, 3 studios going. It's an amazing thing. So because it's under such a deadline, you can't make a joke. You just gotta keep going, keep going, keep going. So of course I decided to play a joke. It's just me and the director engineer in there. And the same thing, I'm a little helicopter. And there's a problem in the forest. And so he's like, we'll never get out of the forest. And I said, because we don't have any breadcrumbs. We don't even eat bread. We're robots. And they're going, wait a minute. Maybe I lost a page. Like, they're so freaked out, you know? I said, no, I just made it up. It just stops at the forest. Let's just go on. You have to know when to do your jokes, I think. Okay, but maybe we should take a break. But it is, like, you can do stuff like that, I think, making other people feel awkward and like, no, that was funny. Oh yeah, maybe I'll leave that
in. Monica, what's your most memorable moment as a voice actor?
Oh, my word. It's been 14 years, there's a lot. It's hard to pick any one moment. So, like, I have, like, when you ask that question, there are flashes that come in my mind, like, Mira Jane's scream when she fights Freed, being cast as Bulma, which is like joining Kiss after they've been around for 30 years. We're like, hey, you want to join the band? Yes! So, like, things like that. Like, I can think of a million different little things that kind of hit me at one time of reasons why it's so cool, down to joke tracks or conventions and getting to meet my fellow voice actors and stuff. I can't even think of what. And I've had that sheet for a while. It really is such a fabulous job, and it is such an awesome experience that to kind of try and pick one instance that is kind of the pinnacle would be unfair to all of the other instances and occasions because it really has been an awesome ride. And I hope it continues to go on for a long time. You guys might be tired of me, but I love work.
David, do you consider yourself a fanboy, and of what?
Oh, gosh. What would I be a fanboy of?
Unicorns, long walks on the beach.
Yeah, I've had this one too, and I couldn't think of anything of what I'm a huge fan. You know, I'm a fanboy of you guys. Seriously. You guys and your cosplay. Done and done.
So like when you're walking around cons, you're like,
Next time you see me on the hallway.
and you mentioned that you were a Whovian. Is that like your biggest thing?
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, I love you guys too, but Doctor Who, come on, I'm not made of stone. Yeah, no, I love Doctor Who. I'm a big comic book nerd. I'm kind of a huge Thor geek too. Right? That's awesome. You're amazing. The rest of you? I'm on Supernatural. I'm actually really enjoying it. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan. I'm a big literature nerd too. I'm that guy that my house is made of books. Like so many books, I can't get rid of them because I'm like, oh no, that's a load-bearing stack. I can't move that. So I'm a big literary buff, and like if you sit and talk with me about literature for any length of time, I will bore you to tears and be like, okay, I'm gonna go watch a movie now. Yeah, I'm a fanboy. I'm very fanatical. I mean, that's what it's short for, really. A fan is not short for mildly into something. It's just like, I'm really into something, and I get kind of overwhelmed by it, and I love it. So. But Doctor Who's been with me since I was a kid, so that's always going to stay with me.
What about you?
Yeah, I love Doctor Who, Firefly, Torchwood, all those. But I too like.
Love you. I'm a fan of
Too.
you.
Oh my God, how many people are getting out of the way?
I know.
It's
We do this
awesome
side now.
I love that. I too read a lot. I love children's books. I love to work on things that are children related because all of that, I think the reason I like Doctor Who and sci-fi and anime, because anything is possible in those realms, and it reminds you, look at how many science fiction writers wrote and what they wrote about now exists. So through that imagination, they were educated people who wrote from the heart and the mind, and now people have created what they thought of. Anime, you think it's on the screen, and that's what I love about that more than things that are realistic. I have a lot of reality at home, so I don't need to keep that in my mind. I just like to think about what's possible and go towards that.
What about you, Monica?
I am a big nerd for European history. European history and the English monarchy are my yeah.
So you're in the zone now with the baby, the royal baby.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. It was all
This is
about
your
it.
time.
Everybody else was like, who cares? I'm like, I do. I care. It's funny that we had this conversation because Brina and I had the conversation a while back. Brina Palencia, she's like, I like this, I like that. Monica, you're not a nerd for anything. And I'm like, yes, I am. And then I was like, wait a minute, because I'm not really fanatical about anything. I like lots of different things, but I'm not like big on any one thing. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, European history. Now I feel like a really big nerd. I'm gonna go hide and count all of Henry's wives again.
Do you watch The Tudors?
Oh, I watched The Tudors. That's where I found Henry Cavill. Then he
Oh my
became
God,
super.
shut up. I know, right?
TV.
Moment of silence. Moment of silence for Henry Cavill. Veronica, so you've had like so many different roles in your life. Sometimes you even had like more than one voice in one character. How do you manage like having more than one
I don't
character?
have to get them confused.
Yeah.
Most of the time in anime, we record all the lines in a, like, like for Pokemon, all of Ash, then all of Ash's mom, and then all of May. So they don't get confused so much because I'm only that character straight through. So that's not bad. When I think of a character, I kind of figure out who they are, and I have a couple lines that I can repeat to get into their voice, but I kind of put them physically, so I stand a different way. The mic has to be in a different position. For Amelia, the mic is higher. Ash, it's in the middle. You know, I'm kind of low. But I have in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and also in Word World, I was in that PBS show, we did those more like radio plays, so we worked on them all together in the room, and those we switch back and forth from character to character, like a radio play. So it really helps for me to kind of place them somewhere so that I can really envision the character that I am, so that I don't confuse them so much. That's where I guess my training and my imagination come in.
Do you use like a specific exercise to help you get into the character, you know, every day before you do a job?
No, I don't do a specific exercise, but I certainly, like when we were starting Pokemon, for instance, because I did that show the longest, that's the one I remember the most, but when we were figuring out what his voice would sound like, my line that I would do when I got there was, "Mom, Mom, Mom," like get him he's way back in a certain spot. "Where? Amelia's way here." "Mom is way back here." So you kind of have a way to switch it around, and so even if you had to be in conversation in the moment, you can't confuse that. And when I'm doing an audiobook, I do the same thing. I figure out where the narrator's voice will sit and where the other characters will sit around that. So and sometimes I write descriptions or I have a picture of a person in mind. Things, because you don't have a lot of time to stop and switch and think. You just have to imagine them and kind of embody them in a second.
What about you guys? Do you have like an exercise in the morning that you do before working on a voice?
Shot a jack.
Some push-ups with your tongue.
I look at a picture of Henry Cavill and go, one day.
That's your motivation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's going to be mine now too.
You know, I don't do any particular exercises, but what I do to warm up on my way into the studio is I will sing very loudly to very bad country music in my truck.
That's the advantage of living where you drive. In New York, you can't do that on the subway.
Oh.
Or on your bike, or on your
You
rollerblades.
could do it on the subway. Come on.
We were talking about this
We were
earlier.
talking about this earlier. What fun can I do?
Seriously, I'm sure Tatum and I separately in the cars. Although it'd be fun to do it together. We should write it.
Oh my god,
Wishes.
yes. And one of us will be in the back seat.
Yes.
So we're like, what the hell's going on over there?
You use your car. I mean, it's like for me, it's 30 minutes.
It's about the same for me.
So I'm driving, and the whole time I'll do some singing, or you have to warm your mouth up too. It's not just about your voice because your mouth starts to get mushy if you're working for like 6 hours and you haven't worked out your mouth. So you have to do a lot of this.
Or...
Yeah. So you're in the car, like either singing, getting into character, or and people are looking at you like.
Right? And once upon a time, in the early days, right, we'd do this and we'd be like at a stoplight, mwah, mwah, mwah. Now, however, it's like mwah, 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 mwah. And then on you go. We look completely ridiculous. I so want to do this with you in the car together at the same time. Both of us on the same side. I'm in the back, you're in the front.
We don't even have to be on our way to the studio. Let's just drive around Dallas on a Saturday night.
Let's get a bunch of people to do this in different cars, like in a procession. What the hell is going on over there?
It's a voice actor parade.
So this is the variety show part of the panel, where I ask you if you have any hidden talents.